Hi, me, Space Monkey. You listen. Wrestling Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna go where people know, people will always say. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, right here on the brand new Trending Topics Network.com. Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and we save a special place for you right after your Black Friday shopping. This is Wrestling Cheers, where we get together and we talk about upcoming events and review our past events in the Northeast Ohio area, because that's really what we like to do. And this week we have a treat in store for you. We have none other than AIW's Hell on Earth 13. But before we go any further, if you want to get a hold of us, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. And you can email us WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube. Please go and subscribe to YouTube. Please, we need 100 subscribers before we can get a custom URL. So find us the best that you can. The links will be in the show notes, but also Spotify and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. And if you want one of the brand new Wrestling Cheers shirts or hoodies or a onesie, if you so choose to desire for your child, head on over to whatamaneuver.net and head on over to the Wrestling Cheers store and pick yourself up one. I've done it. I bought myself a t-shirt and hoodie today, and I'm looking forward to be wearing that at upcoming shows. And you can do the same thing and help support this show as little as possible. The best that you can. That's all we're asking for. But who am I? I am your host. I am Heavy Set, and I'm being joined by a man making his return to Wrestling Cheers. It's been quite a while. We have Dustin Alberti.
It's been far too long, and I am here to talk about wrestling and talk about... Are we talking about cheers, or are we just talking about wrestling?
I mean, we could be talking about cheers that we do in wrestling.
I could talk about cheers I do in wrestling. I'm a big fan of dick puns when Dick Justice is out there.
Yes.
I enjoy chanting very sarcastically. I like to do sarcastic cheers.
That really surprises me.
I like to cheer when nobody else is cheering, because it makes other people around me feel uncomfortable, because it brings attention to the area I'm in. I guess I like wrestling a lot more than I like actually cheering, if that makes any sense.
And
but I do like beer, which is cheers, right? Beer.
That too.
That works.
Do you drink during shows or no? Or I think sometimes, right?
Me? I've been known to enjoy an adult beverage from time to time.
Let's say it's not all the time. You're not other fans.
No, I've definitely
Yeah.
slowed down a lot more.
Yeah.
Back Turner's Hall days, I could be a bit drunk, if I'm being blunt about it.
And speaking of drunk and being barely allowed to drink, we have Payton Vince.
Oh, hey, what a common connection of those two things to make it sound like I'm a full-time alcoholic. And before I go on about anything else, who says a onesie's just for your child?
Because I think they only have child sizes.
You don't know how disappointed I am right now.
I mean, you can get a shirt and turn it into a onesie somehow. I mean, get some extra material. I mean, it's probably not that hard to do.
It sounds complicated, I mean.
Whatamaneuver.net. That's all you need to do. Get over there. Go now. I'll wait.
Oh, hold on, I'll be right back.
Anyway, we have, like I said, as I try to pull back up the card that I had up, but I think I exited out that window.
It's okay. I remember every match. We have John Cena versus John Thorne in a Fans Bring the Weapons match. I'm pretty sure that's on the card.
Imagine that.
Braun Strowman against PB Smooth.
Braun Strowman versus PB Smooth, I believe, is on there. It's got a 5-minute time limit. I don't know why they give it a 5-minute time limit, but 5-minute time limit. I believe there's a special test of strength between Weird Body and
Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman's already in the PB Smooth match. Actually,
he's double booked.
It's
And don't forget the production against the Shield.
Yes, production versus the Shield is
Against the New Day in a triple threat.
Oh my gosh, that's what it is. Yeah, so that's the card. It was great talking to you guys. Anyways,
but I mean to say, because I kind of got over. You know what's going on? It's Hell on Earth 13, Black Friday, November 24th, 2017, at Our Lady of Mount Carmel, 1355 West 70th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, featuring the return of Jimmy Jacobs and Jody Fleisch.
Well, the debut of Jody Fleisch.
Well, I meant return to America. That was actually
North American return.
Yeah, the North American return.
Maybe American return. I don't know if he's been to Canada or Mexico and as of late. I can't say I'm up to date on my Jody Fleisch information.
It sounds like he hasn't been on this side of the pond in a long time. That seems to be what I hear from other things. Because I know he's booked, I think, other places this weekend. Or right around this time, I've heard. I don't know. So many dates, so little time. But we have, as of right now, 8 matches, and then there's like a 9th one that we might get. We'll figure that out later. But we have Jody Fleisch versus M-Dog Matt Cross versus Laredo Kid versus DJZ. All Ego Ethan Page versus Dominic Guarini. Filthy Tom Lawler versus Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. Colt Cabana versus Jimmy Jacobs. The AIW Tag Team title match, To Infinity and Beyond versus the Boys from Jollyville versus the Young Studs. A 10-man tag match, Marino Tenaglia and the Real World, fuck, I've been doing that lately. Weird World and Space Justice versus Trey Lamar, Garrison King, AJ Gray, Joshua Bishop, and Malcolm Monroe III. Magnum C.
Asterisk. It is no longer your Space Justice.
We'll get to that. Spoiler. Magnum CK versus PB Smooth and the AIW Absolute title match, Nick fucking Gage versus Tim fucking Donst.
Wait, hold on. Why are you saying fucking now, but you said the Boys from Jollyville, when you could have just gone right with it?
Okay. I'm just
lost. I thought you were going PG for a second,
No.
then you suddenly just turned it up to rated R.
I'm reading it off the flyers. I don't know what's going on. It might be the Powerbomb deal, that they can't be called the Fuckets. But I know outside of AIW, they were called the Boys from Jollyville, other places. So
it might just be because it's on a flyer, and if they put the flyer out so it doesn't say the word fuck on it, or they
that's
could
also a good
try
point.
to change their name. I don't know. It could be either way. We do know how changing names can mess with things. Aaron's.
Hey, he said a lot of people screw up his name, and at least he changed his name afterwards. So, yeah. And, yeah, I'm just reading stuff off flyers, and we also do have Louis London versus Gringo Loco.
Kind of, sort of, in a way.
It's been announced.
Yeah, it's on a flyer, but there's not an official individual match graphic. So,
yeah.
I mean, we did have this last event where there was actually a match or two announced in the event, but not on the graphic or graphics.
Yeah, they've talked about how they're going to try to not necessarily announce everything so that the live shows can be a little more special or must-see. I
mean, I kind of like that with MJF having a random match that no one was really expecting at the last show. I don't mind seeing some stuff like that.
No, it was a fun surprise. Very fun surprise.
All right, what we're going to do when these normal big show formats and having more than one person on is we're going to talk about 3 matches, and then we're going to go back over every single match really quick and make picks, including those 3 matches. So let's start with Magnum CK versus PB Smooth. And before we talk about this match, let's go into the promo from the production that was recorded back in September, but leads us right into where we are for this match.
Action. September 15th. Take a look. The stage has been set in absolute intense wrestling. The production is here. Tell him, Frank.
I have just done what I have said I would do over and over and over again, and that is defeat PB Smooth with the help of a new addition to the cast. Words, PB Smooth. You're very good at words, but you're not good at watching your back, are you? Magnum CK, the supporting lead, makes his debut in AIW.
And on November 24th, Black Friday begins the winter of your discontent.
Make a leg.
Cut.
I'm sick and tired of these goddamn mind games! You know what? I may not know who old boy is, but he's gonna find out who I am in November.
And then, yes, we had added word right there from PB Smooth, and PB's not happy about this at all. The production as a whole have been a thorn in PB's backside since Back to the Future Cup 2. First, starting with Frankie, and then you added Colby Red and Derek Director, and now you add a fourth member. You add Magnum CK, and this seems to be the big gun for the production. Will PB be able to beat Magnum? Or, because you've got to figure you're going to have the production at ringside too.
The production will be at ringside. Obviously, the Weird World has their own thing going on, as we'll talk about later in the night. Will PB Smooth have somebody in his corner? Will he have somebody to help back him up? Or will he just be going it alone? Will he just be hoping that, or believing in himself enough that he doesn't need anybody else around him to help take care of this threat that's only gotten more threatening with the size, strength that Magnum CK brings along with him?
I was honestly thinking the same thing. Like, it's only a matter of time before PB Smooth gathers together a couple of his buddies, his friends, to actually maybe help even out the numbers. Because, 4-on-1, not quite fair. 3-on-1 wasn't quite fair. I think it's only just a matter of time that you could take so much, and then you're just going to end up retaliating. And I think that's what PB Smooth ends up doing, at least sometime in the near future, if not on Hell on Earth.
But who would be in PB's corner? I can't think of many people besides, the Weird World that have had some sort of alliance with him. Granted, Gary the King Baller did, but
yeah, he did.
That's more now kind of in the past, especially with No Consequences. So does he bring in somebody that we've never seen or we haven't seen in AIW in a long time? Or is there just a new alliance waiting to form in AIW?
There's honestly, we have no idea. Anything can happen. That's what we've come to notice. We had the production, we thought it was set, and then they added another member. So it's really, there's no telling on who can show up or who's going to come in, and I don't know, it's one of those things where you have no idea when something's going to happen or what's going to happen. And that's what makes a feud like this fun. It's what makes something like AIW so fun, where you want to be there to see what's going to happen.
Honestly, I think, just to answer your question, Justin, I think it ends up being somebody you haven't either seen in a while or somebody that you haven't really seen or expected to actually end up teaming up with PB Smooth. I'm leaning more towards somebody that you haven't really seen in AIW in general, and maybe even in Ohio in general. It's just someone that he randomly ends up finding that you never really expected, but they turn out to be friends. You never know, just like Dustin was saying.
We know PB's from New York. I can think of somebody else from New York who would make a killer team with PB. And that's...
Does he have a history with Frankie Flynn? Because I think I have the same idea you do.
I think I do too.
Yes, he does have a history with Frankie Flynn. And he's also, I believe, had a match with PB. And then that's none other than Mr. Goofy himself, Eddie Kingston.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe Eddie Kingston goes, hey, I put you over, kid. Now all of a sudden you're being a son of a bitch. Who knows?
Or maybe even Eddie Kingston ends up joining the production.
Yeah, I don't see Eddie being a theater kid.
For those who don't know,
you never know.
There was a little bit of silence after he said that, just so you guys know.
Here it is again.
Well, people aren't going to be able to pick up on that part, but saying, after you said that, me and both Dustin were both kind of quiet for an extra second.
I like to be quiet.
You also like to cheer when people aren't normally cheering.
Cheer when nobody's watching.
I also like to break Payton's spirit because he's not funny, nor is he interesting.
We all have fun doing that, don't we?
I didn't think I was going to get picked on.
Come on.
Oh, you're going to cry about it, Payton? You cry? Cry about it?
I just might.
Oh, yeah.
All right, but
anyways,
do you guys got anything else on this match? I'm looking forward to seeing the debut of Magnum CK in the ring at AIW. I know he's worked hard to get to this point, and I think, no pun intended, but it does fit. His role in AIW seems to be a perfect one.
Yeah, I'm really after doing a little bit of research, I will admit that I had no idea who he was when I first saw him at the last show. After doing some research and watching some matches and watching some promos, and what I've enjoyed everything the production has done yet far, and I think that he will be perfect. I think it's going to just be fun. It's going to be an interesting ride from here on out.
You know what? I'm also really excited to see Magnum CK in an AIW ring. I think the way he made his debut definitely had the shock factor. Nobody really expected that to happen. You kind of thought that the production was full. They were at full cast, for example. And out of nowhere, Magnum CK just, like, if you blinked and, like, looked away, you didn't see him get into the ring.
And I want to throw out to everybody out there, I mean, I like putting promos in these episodes so you can hear them. There was one promo I could not fit in here, and if you haven't gone, please go to AIW's YouTube page and check out a fantastic promo from Magnum CK where it's just, I can't even describe it. I don't even want to describe it. There's no word. Some
people would call it the greatest cinematic piece on YouTube.
Yes, and it can't really be played on here. I suggest you, if you haven't done it, check it out. We gave you the two coming into the match. It's the best we could do, but this one's good if you haven't seen it yet. All right, let's move on to the 10-man tag match, which we kind of mentioned something that, Dustin said something. Marino Tenaglia, Weird World, and Space Justice, which unfortunately right now we have learned that Space Monkey is injured and will not be able to wrestle. I don't know if he's not coming or whether he's still planning on making the trip, but he just said, I won't be able to wrestle. They will be going up against Trey Lamar, Garrison King, AJ Gray, Joshua Bishop, and Malcolm Monroe III. Not necessarily No Consequences, because last time I checked, Malcolm Monroe III wasn't a member of No Consequences, because that's what he said at Cool as Ice.
But this is like the third time that he's teamed with them, right?
Second.
I believe so.
Second time he's teamed with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. At that point, pretty sure you're part of No Gun. Personally, that's how I look at it.
I mean, judging. I don't know if you're going to go on.
I know, it doesn't matter what you think. I say it's kind of like if you're hanging out with somebody multiple times and you're being seen with that person, you're part of that person's crew. Like, you're that person's friend. There's no in between there. That's how it works out.
And bouncing off of that subject and going on to just backtracking, we were just talking about Magnum CK, who just appeared with the production just once, and we're considering him part of the production. And now with Malcolm Monroe III, this is going to be his second time, we said, right? With No Consequences?
Yeah, but Payton, Magnum CK has been announced as a member of the production.
Yeah, he's been announced as part of the cast of the production.
Get yourself together here, Payton.
Get your facts.
Well, you see where I'm trying to add them both together and make some kind of equation for both to make sense.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I mean, this could be where Malcolm Monroe III is an official member of No Consequences, but when we last heard from him 9 weeks ago, he said he wasn't. Especially being ringside, when something was going on, he's like, well, I'm not part of No Consequences, and he said he did it for the money. So, we'll see. We'll see on that aspect, but who is going to replace Space Monkey? I personally think you would figure, since, okay, we have the Weird World, then we should have Philly Marino Experience, because we already have one half, so we have the Marino, now the Philly would be properly filled in. But what do you guys think?
Filled in.
I wasn't trying that, but who do you guys think is going to be in that now open spot? Dustin.
I was waiting for Payton to say something. I've been taking the reins from Payton.
Usually it's you, then it's me, so I've figured out
to say words. Every time I say something, Payton just kind of goes, yeah, basically what Dustin said. I get it, Payton. You want to be like me.
And you didn't even go to the Ohio School for Broadcasting.
No, I didn't. I mean, I think I'm pretty much a natural. But I think Philly is the obvious answer. But I like the idea, especially because it's Hell on Earth, and Hell on Earth, especially like Hell on Earth and the like last December show, they're really well known for kind of having, there's people who are available who normally aren't available, people who are around from the holidays, people who are even from like others outside areas, like people who are like at home in Detroit, people who are at home in Pittsburgh, people who are at home in Indiana, who, because it's not that far of a drive, they'll come to AIW for the booking, or if AIW needs to replace somebody, like they need to replace Space Monkey right now, they're really good at bringing in somebody different. So I think while Philly Collins is, yes, the obvious answer, I think the fact that it is one of these holiday shows that literally it could be anybody that's within a 6-7 hour, even 8 hour radius.
Or living close,
even if it's somebody who lives out on the coast, or somebody who lives down in Florida, or on the West Coast or East Coast, or down in Florida, or the farther Midwest,
or living around somebody who's already making the trip.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's that's the fun part about shows like this, is yes, there are things they can do, but sometimes AAW likes to pull out a crazy, you would never have thought this person would be here type thing. And I mean, I don't know anybody, I don't have a name off the top of my head. I mean, last show they brought in Ethan Carter III, just randomly. He was in town, they brought him in. I mean, it's
so you're saying it's going to be EC3?
It could be anybody. I mean, it could be he just beat them EC3 did just beat them last month, they won last month.
Yeah,
he just beat them last month, but I want to beat them again. Get another W on that record.
That's the only time No Consequences has suffered a loss, I believe. Or is it?
There we go.
Joshua, I know Joshua Bishop has only got a loss, I think, but I think the rest of them, I don't think anybody, the rest of them have lost.
But yeah, I mean, it could be anybody. I mean, there's plenty of options, and I think that's Briley Pierce was at the show last year because he was around.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Maybe Briley Pierce's brother shows up. Who knows? Who knows what happened? Who knows what could happen? But like I said, the more than obvious answer is Philly. But I feel like, who knows?
I have one other name in mind, but I'm gonna let Payton go.
You know what? I think I'm gonna maybe take this another step further.
Say everything that Dustin said? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat what I kept on saying. I'm gonna agree with what Dustin said about Philly Collins being the suitable replacement for obvious reasons. But what has been something that has been going on in AIW recently before shows? Usually they've been having seminars. And who are they bringing in for the seminar? Who's doing a seminar that's on the show? Jimmy Jacobs. You kind of see where I'm going here, going hand in hand, that there's going to be talent there that know how to wrestle.
That's
and
true.
They need a replacement. So, I mean, you have a slew of people that could easily, whoever pretty much is the most impressive, maybe during that seminar, can actually have a spot in the show. And maybe that's circumstances that might happen.
Peyton, I'm so proud of you bringing the wood. What a great answer. It could be somebody from the seminar. That's a good answer. See, Justin, I knew we'd get something out of Peyton today. At some point, I knew he'd bring the wood sooner or later, and he came with one good answer. If he says nothing of use for the rest of the podcast, which he probably won't, he at least brought that to the table. It's a very good point.
I don't know if I should say thank you, I appreciate it, or just stay silent, but I'm going to say thank you, I appreciate it, Dustin. It means a lot.
Should have stayed silent. We were talking kind of, before about it'd be really awesome to see Philly Collins and Dick Justice together. Almost a father-son duo. But when you look at this team of Weird World, Dick Justice, and Reno Tenaglia, there's one name that would fit really well in this besides Space Monkey. And that would be none other than new AIW roster member, Mance Warner.
Ooh.
Oh, I like Mance Warner. I think the Mancer could make a good fill in there. And could be a good choice.
Mance has already had an AIW match against who? Joshua Bishop. Man on the other side of the ring. If it's not Philly, I'd really like it to be Mance.
I like that. I think Mancer's a good choice. Like I said, I think that the best part about, even though Philly Collins is the obvious answer, there are so many other options, whether it be people who have recently debuted. I mean, I don't think MJF would be in it, but I mean, we have people like MJF who recently debuted. We have people like Mance Warner who are recently debuted. I think that you put that on top of AIW alumni who could be back in town or could be within driving distance, or like you said, Justin, who could be who could drive in with somebody. Or as Payton said, the only good thing he's ever said, it could be somebody who's there for the Jimmy Jacobs seminar.
I have one other solution.
Payton, it's not going to be as good as your Jimmy Jacobs seminar.
No,
I don't even think you try.
No, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Let's hear it. I can't
this
wait.
might contradict my previous statement.
Can't wait.
It could be somebody not at the seminar.
No.
Somebody not at the seminar. Yes.
But you guys did mention that MM3 is not a part of No Consequences, correct?
That's true.
That far
now,
as we
what
know.
if he turns against No Consequences and then No Consequences has an open spot? That could happen too.
I would be surprised if that happened. I don't know.
I mean, the only way that would happen is if Malcolm Monroe III would be kicked out of the match because Chase Oliver is ready to participate, and then that leaves the opening on the other end. But I feel like
MM3 did it for the money, though, correct?
That's what he said. I'm just quoting the man.
If he did it for the money, you never know what could happen, though.
Well, we'll see. We have our picks on who we think is going to be in that match, and let's move on to the last match that we will cover, and this is a very, very important one. This is for the AIW Absolute title, Tim Donst versus Nick Gage, and we have promos from both men, so let's go to that.
This is Nick fucking Gage, Murder, Death, Kill, Eastern Bloc, Hate Club, the king, the man, the god of this shit. AIW, like my second home, man. GCW, my first home. AIW, my second home. I came to this place to make a stake in this place, to make a name for myself, to end Tim Donst's career. So what I'm gonna do in November is, Tim Donst, I'm gonna break your neck, I'm gonna send you home, and I'm gonna carry around that strap. You people are gonna realize why I'm the best in the world going right now. Anybody got a fucking problem, man, you can come see me. Anywhere, anytime. Anybody else? All my fans, everybody support me. I love you. It's Murder, Death, Kill, Eastern Bloc, Hate Club. It's the god of this shit. The best. The king, Nick fucking Gage. New champ.
Is he calm? Is he calm?
I think he is.
Have you seen Gage? What the hell was that, man? Only in wrestling can two things happen. Can you have a goddamn convict, a scum of the earth, a guy that's been to prison and back his entire life? Only in wrestling can one of those guys excel to the top. Only in wrestling can you get title matches by attacking a guy when you're not even booked. Only in wrestling does Tim Donst have to prove why he's the best against a guy that wasn't even booked here tonight, that shouldn't be here tonight. Nick Gage, I said it once, I said it before. November, you're gonna wish you were back in prison because of how badly I kicked your ass. I'm gonna do it, not for AIW, not for my pride, hell, not even just for this title. I'm gonna do it for professional wrestling. Catchphrase.
Nick fucking Gage versus Tim fucking Donst. Who is going to walk out AIW the Absolute Champion, and who's going to prove to be the fucking man? Let's go to you, Payton.
Oh boy, I'm going first.
No, yeah.
I'm not ready for this change. But honestly, I think it's going to be Mr. Murder, Death, Kill himself, gang affiliated, Nick Gage. That's all I got.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, this is one of my favorite things going on in AIW right now. And I think it's because we have the 2-year break. And I've said it many times before, just how the storyline or how Donst has been perceived by the crowd has changed within 2 years. And now Nick Gage is back. There's finally a rematch of Absolution 10, and it's for the title. And Donst has held the title since, what was that, Gauntlet for the Gold. And it was supposed to, there was that stipulation of if he lost, he wouldn't challenge for the title for a year. And he's, beaten a lot of men along the way and beat some of them twice. Now he has Nick Gage. He beat him 2 years ago, but will that be enough? I have to go with Nick Gage on this one. I mean, we don't technically throw out picks right now, but what a way to start. I'm going with Nick Gage. I mean, granted, it is partially what I want to see, but I also kind of want to see Gage as champion for a while and see what his challengers look like. I feel like we've seen that with Donst. He's gone up against everybody. And you know what? This title run for him has been very entertaining. But I'm hoping the next step is Gage beating him as champion to become champion. Dustin?
I enjoy both guys. I'm not on that, like, choosing a side situation. Nick Gage scares me a little bit more.
Oh, I mean, Nick Gage scares everybody.
I mean, he's a little bit off there, but I enjoy
gang affiliated.
Allegedly gang affiliated. But I don't know. I have a hard time choosing because I don't mind either way. I'd love to see what Donst would go up to next. I mean, getting the Nick Gage monkey off his back would open up a whole new world to Tim Donst, I think. But on the other hand, Nick Gage would breathe new life into a division that's really only seen, I mean, the champions there haven't been that many different champions over the past 4 or 5 years. Not even, like 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been like your odd here and there, Ultra Mantis Black, but I mean, for the most part, it's been Tim Donst, Ethan Page, Josh Alexander, Michael Elgin. Michael Elgin hasn't even been that. It's been a while since Michael Elgin. And the Josh Alexander thing kind of, it didn't go to where it needed to be for reasons outside of Josh Alexander's control. I mean, the Ricky Shane Page title reign was kind of meh, and then even the Josh Prohibition got the title, but he only held it for, how long did he hold it for? Do we know?
About 9 months.
He got it, was it 9 months?
About a year.
Won it at Absolution and lost it at Gauntlet. Yeah, about 9 months.
Oh, wow.
About 9 months. I mean, it's a long reign, but I mean, he was the first long title reign outside of any of those other guys who basically were passing it back and forth from, not necessarily back and forth, but the only people really getting a shot at it. And I think Louis Linden getting a shot at it kind of mixed things up a little bit too. But, I mean, it's been the same guys for the most part in the title picture. And I think Nick Gage could shake things up a little bit, and maybe we'd start seeing some guys who want to challenge Nick Gage who really didn't want to challenge a guy like Tim Donst or didn't want to have a match against a guy like Tim Donst. I think it could change the main event outlook completely.
Or do you see the possibility of having a shortage of challengers? Because as we mentioned, Nick Gage is a little bit scary, and I wouldn't say Tim Donst is as scary as Nick Gage, so maybe do you see a decline in challengers, and Nick Gage just not necessarily has to pick a fight on his own, but you don't get too many challengers for probably maybe a couple months.
But are you telling me guys like, and this one I know wouldn't probably challenge for it right now, but guys like Eric Ryan or Filthy Tom Lawler, Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, even Dominic Green, you tell me like guys like that wouldn't challenge Nick Gage?
I think that it's more they both you have an issue wanting to challenge a guy like Tim Donst because, as he calls himself, a wrestling machine. He is a wrestler. He is a great technician. He knows how to reverse things. He knows how to wrestle. He is a wrestler's wrestler. And then a guy like Nick Gage you're worried about because while he's not the wrestling wrestler that Tim Donst is, he's the unpredictable, scary, for lack of a better term, fighter.
Yeah,
wrestler, like fighting wrestler.
I think the way
he's a brawler. He doesn't.
I think what you're looking for,
per se.
I think what you're looking for is Tim Donst will wrestle you. Nick Gage will fight you.
Yeah, that's a very easy way to boil it down.
That's why I threw out a name like Filthy Tom Lawler. You tell me Filthy Tom Lawler wouldn't fight Nick Gage? I definitely
Filthy Tom Lawler would fight the shit out of Nick Gage.
Mm-hmm. I even think Dominic Greeny would fight Nick Gage. I think he has fought Nick Gage in other promotions.
Yeah,
now.
he just this past weekend, I believe.
So I think either way, the title scene would be interesting. I do lean more towards Nick Gage. I partially because looking at Absolution going into that, nobody really thought Nick Gage was going to come back. I know I said it, I wanted it, but was I going to put money on that? No, because I didn't think it was possible. I figured we would see, it was possible Tim Donst winning, but a lot of people, I think it was split. A lot of people wanted Louis Linden or wanted Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, and that thing had been building since last year about this time. I think the end of the year of Tracy Williams winning the title. So I figured, this would be the moment at Absolution if it wasn't him, Lewis Linden. But instead, Tim Donst wins, and then Nick Gage comes out. This is what we've been building for. We got to see that moment, or I want to see that moment, or I think we will see that moment of Nick Gage winning. And then it would be interesting. Like, we don't even know what the late December show is going to be called. This really could be interesting. Any more on that match? Thoughts, Peyton or Dustin?
I'm good. I think we covered it pretty well.
I mean, we could wrap it up by saying that Nick Gage is scary, and that's about it, but I have nothing else to add.
All right, let's talk about some of these other matches, and, let's make some picks. Start with Jody Fleisch versus M-Dog Matt Cross versus Laredo Kid versus DJZ. A potential way to start the show. I'm going to go... If Jody Fleisch was the first name announced, I think he's going to win. I mean, that's the first name we got announced for the show. So I'm going Fleisch.
I don't think Jody Fleisch is flying all the way from England to lose a match.
That's true.
I think Jody Fleisch is gonna resurrect career in the United States on Friday night.
You know what? I kind of see a little bit of a curveball coming, and M-Dog Matt Cross is going to actually be the victor in that one.
Oh, I just realized we're going to have Grandma Cross. We're going to have...
Grandma Cross, the wild card.
Grandma Cross is the wild card. Oh, this might not be a show opener because this is going to be later in the night because Grandma Cross needs to get worked up. So...
She needs some alcohol.
Grandma Cross is the greatest. But, let's... Did you make a official pick there?
Who? Peyton?
Yeah.
Peyton picked Matt.
Oh, yeah, you did back. Okay. I got sidetracked by my Nana Cross. All right. All Ego Ethan Page versus Dominic Garrini, the hottest free agent. All Ego Ethan Page versus Dominic Garrini.
I'm going to pick Chandler Parks. I think Chandler Parks is going to win this.
Does anybody know when that episode airs?
He said on his podcast, I think he said middle of November.
What, he has a new podcast?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this. What the fuck?
I just found out about it. I added it, but I haven't. I only listened to like 1 or 2 episodes so far. I think there's only been 3 episodes, but I only listened to like 1 or 2.
I need to look into this.
It's called the Bitter Boys Club. It's sponsored.
Oh,
it's like
yeah. I heard about that.
Flow Slam is running it.
Yeah, there's
Flow Slam.
There's like controversy behind it. Like something about him working with Flow Slam. I don't get it. But
yeah, I don't think it's that crazy as people would make it sound. But yeah, he's got a podcast with Flow Slam.
I mean,
the Bitter Boys Club.
I mean, I heard about it through Twitter. People bitching. So, people bitch about everything on Twitter, so it's not a huge...
Isn't that what Twitter's for?
Pretty much. All Ego... Okay, when did you say that was going to announce? I mean, air, by the way, you said middle of November?
Yeah, I want to say... Or maybe not. Maybe it was December. I know that he said that they had filmed to like the middle of January, I think he might have said, Jesus. And that they were doing their next set of tapings in January. But he hasn't been announced for them or told that he's going to work them, and where they had the filming of whatever they filmed, the way it ended, they could write him off or they could bring him back, and it could go either way. But I couldn't tell you the exact date. I know he brings it up. Maybe it's next week, but I wouldn't quote me on that.
I'm gonna probably ask him. But All Ego Ethan Page versus Dominic Garrini. Dustin's going with Chandler Park.
Yes, Chandler Park.
Which, like I said, I absolutely love that name.
Yeah, I think it's. I think Biggins is probably laughing, saying he's such an idiot.
Yeah,
I'd agree with you on that.
But I'm split. What do you got, Peyton?
Honestly, I'm split the same way, but I don't think it's going to be a match that's going to end in disqualification. I obviously think there's going to be some kind of winner. I don't see the match ending in DQ or count out, but for some reason, I'm thinking Dominic Garrini ends up winning. I'm
going to go Ethan Page. It's a coin flip between the two, but I am leaning more towards Ethan Page. I think coming out of Absolution, he's kind of on a roll. I see him picking up a victory here. But it won't be no easy victory nonetheless. This match should be a fun one. Filthy Tom Lawler versus Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. Filthy versus Hot Sauce. Who do you got, Peyton?
For this match, I'll have to say Hot Sauce Tracy Williams.
Dustin?
I am going to go with the mixed martial artist. I'm going to go with Mr. Filthy Thomas Lawler.
I'm going to agree on Filthy Tom Lawler. I think it's actually another one of those matches. Tracy Williams is going to wrestle you, or is going to wrestle with you, but Tom Lawler's going to fight.
I'll say this. I don't think that it's going to come down so much to Filthy Tom Lawler's been on like a hot streak.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to come down more to that Tracy Williams has been in quite the skid lately.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I think it'll be more based on the fact that Tracy Williams just hasn't been able to win than it is that Tom just wins.
I agree. And up next we have Colt Cabana versus Jimmy Jacobs. The one question I have is, who was Colt Cabana's opponent before Jimmy Jacobs got released?
I don't know. That's a good question. I will say, I don't know if you guys saw, it was kind of mentioned, but not like officially announced. Bryce Remsburg is going to be there, and he's going to referee this match. So
I did see that.
Referee
Nice.
Bryce Remsburg will be there.
I'm gonna go Jimmy Jacobs, but I think this is gonna be an entertaining match. I've always loved Colt Cabana's matches because even like going back to Absolution, I have a feeling we all knew who was going to win that tag match, but they made it very interesting. So Colt Cabana doesn't disappoint in my book. So still picking Jimmy Jacobs.
I'm going to go Zombie Princess Jimmy Jacobs as well.
I'm going to have to go with Colt Cabana because, and here's the kicker reasoning for me, this would be the first show I see Jimmy Jacobs in a singles match since I've been at AIW shows.
That is very true, because I was thinking similar to that, because you had mentioned prior to recording that your first show was Charge It to the Underhills, the first show at Mount Carmel. And that was a show that had the Forgotten, and they were the tag team champions at the time, and I think they lost the belts their next appearance, I want to say.
I think they did in that February show.
So, yeah, this would be the first time you've seen Jimmy Jacobs in singles competition. But nonetheless, there's been a pattern in the past couple matches. Me and Dustin will pick the same thing, and you'll go opposite of us.
That's not intentional at all either. That's the funny part.
Well, we have the AIW Tag Team title match, To Infinity and Beyond versus the boys from Jollyville versus the Young Studs. Is this the day that the AIW Tag Team champions lose?
No.
I'm going to have to agree with no. I feel like at this point, it's going to have to be a tag team that either we haven't seen in a while, or a tag team that's new, or a tag team that has magical powers. I don't know how To Infinity and Beyond are going to lose those titles, but I feel like at this point it has to be like the Avengers are going to have to assemble to beat them. They seem unstoppable.
What about the Justice
At this
League?
point,
Excuse me?
I said, what about the Justice League?
like the Space Justice League.
I'm unaware of the Justice League. I'm unaware of them. I feel like you might be talking about that DC property that apparently has just shit the bed super hard. I haven't seen it yet. I probably won't see it until I can see it on DVD in the privacy of my own house where I don't have to pay a ton of money to see it.
I'm not defending them, but top 10 opening release weekend of all time. Top 10.
That's cool. Heard nothing but garbage reviews.
It's all right.
I think it's just going to be the Space Justice League.
Yeah, we heard your attempt at a joke, and there's a reason why no one said anything. I'll give you a review.
Yeah, Payton,
I'll give you my thoughts after we're done recording on it.
Okay.
Sorry you don't get that, fans, but this is what it is.
That's all right. Justice League talk just for us.
I'm gonna have to pick To Infinity and Beyond until I get proved wrong. They've been champions for a while, and they might. Do you think they're the longest tag team champions in a while? They have at least held it the most in the past so many years because of the different reigns.
Matt Wadsworth posted earlier, either today or yesterday, that if To Infinity and Beyond win, Colin Delaney will pass Eric Ryan as most total days as a champion in AIW, like combined, whether it's absolute title, intense title, or tag title, like just days as a champion in AIW.
Okay.
I think that I think he said there's 14 days if he beats them, and then he will pass that record. I think that's what it said. So Eric Ryan's trying to save his record as well. So I mean it's a little added incentive for the young studs.
Oh yeah. So are we all thinking To Infinity and Beyond?
It's impossible to pick against them at this point.
Yeah, because the tag team championships are almost magnetically attached to their waist. Like there's some kind of force field that ends up always having those two things brought together.
Moving on, up next, match we've already covered, Magnum CK versus PB Smooth. With the production being at ringside, I feel like it's all in Magnum CK's advantage, so Magnum CK.
Unless PB has a crew with him and has backup, and it's going to have to be something bigger and better than the Weird World. No offense, Weird World, but I think PB Smooth's going to have to bring some artillery with him and have some type of backup plan to counteract the production. But if he doesn't, I don't see Magnum CK losing.
You know, I honestly think PB Smooth wins, and I honestly think that you do see PB Smooth coming with the backup either in the beginning of the match, which I don't think would be as exciting, but it would even the numbers to start off with. But I kind of see it more happening midway through the match. So you kind of get your surprise factor at the same time. And maybe PB Smooth comes with more numbers. Maybe he has 5 people he knows compared to the 4 from the production.
Then we have the 10-man tag match. Marino Tenaglia, The Weird World, Dick Justice, and a mystery partner versus Trey Lamar, Garrison King, AJ Gray, Joshua Bishop, and Malcolm Monroe III. I thought of a couple more names for this mystery spot. Some I think are better than others. Some have a good possibility. Others not so much. Just spitballing names. How about Big Mo?
Ooh, that could be interesting.
What about Joshua Singh?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I think there are, like I said, there's so many options to who it can be.
What about the bad boy, the AIW Intense Champion?
Joseph Janela?
Joey Janela. Because that's actually something I was thinking about. Where's the Intense title?
That is a good question.
I don't know what his bookings look like, but that would be also really fun to add to the match. But I'm going to go with No Consequences. A, because I know the team, and B, Joshua Bishop does not like it when I pick against him. So I'm going with No Consequences. Dustin?
I feel like the unknown now that exists with Space Monkey being gone, I feel like it actually helps No Consequences. Because not only do they not know who they're facing, but the team doesn't know who's going to be on their team. And who knows, maybe the chemistry won't work out with this new member. I feel like No Consequences has now had multiple shows where they've gotten their chemistry and they've started to kind of get a feeling for each other. And I feel like maybe this is their first match, which will shoot them into the stratosphere.
Peyton?
For my prediction, I think just because the opposite reason why you're picking them, Justin, because that mystery partner can be anybody possible. I think they have the edge right now. So credit to Marino Tenaglia for the name. I'm going to steal it here, but I think the Weird Space Justice Experience will become victorious in that match.
I like just calling them the Weird World Order because it's a pretty weird team.
It is pretty weird.
And then we have the main event of the evening, a match 2.5 years, almost 3 years in the making. The absolute title match, Tim fucking Donst versus Nick fucking Gage. Who is the fucking man? I've already said it. I'm going with Nick Gage. Who do you guys got?
Nick Gage.
Time to pick.
Want Tim Donst? Believe it will be Nick Gage.
So what's your pick?
I want Tim Donst to win, but I believe Nick Gage will win.
So your pick is Nick Gage?
My pick is Nick Gage.
Okay. Just want to make sure we had it clear.
Nicholas L. Gage.
I don't think you want to call him Nicholas. You might want to watch your back then, Dustin.
Nicholas L. Gage.
So, there we have it. All of the Oh, wait a minute. We're... Just so we have the pick in for it, Louis Linden versus Gringo Loco. I'm going Gringo Loco.
I'm going Louis Linden, captain of the ship.
You know what? I would have to go with the Louis Linden also. I'm actually agreeing with Dustin for once.
I want to change my pick. There's no way I could pick the same exact thing as Peyton again. I'm going to go with... I'm going to pick with Louis Linden still. I'm sorry. I can't change my pick.
I'm not changing it either.
So, now that is every match from Hell on Earth 13, which will be this Friday, Black Friday, November 24th, 7:30 bell time at Our Lady of Mount Carmel, 1355 West Ta 70th Street, Cleveland, Ohio. One of the definitely top shows of the years in AIW, up there with Gauntlet for the Gold, both J-Lit shows, Absolution and normally the end of the year show, whatever it tends to be. I know we had last week on the show, friend of the show, Andy from the Road Home from Wrestling. He's coming all the way up from Dayton, and this is one of the shows that people come in from. So if you haven't decided to come to the show, you're really doing yourself an injustice. It's going to be a stacked show, and AIW has been known to throw in surprises. And there's also, let's not forget, travel issues. We're talking Thanksgiving, Black Friday. There could be travel issues. We could see a bunch of different match changes. And one of the top.
Knock on wood, fingers crossed. It
Yeah,
not. We don't need to put that kind of stress on people, but it could happen.
Yeah. So get all your, like I've seen all these posts this week. Get all your Black Friday shopping done, and then which does need to be mentioned. Do not show up to Our Lady of Mount Carmel until 5 o'clock.
I was going to bring that up. They just recently announced from here on out, do not show up at the shows before 5 o'clock. It's not a good look. Also, I wanted to point out, the other cool thing about most of these Hell on Earth shows, I'm not sure what they're going to do this year. Normally they run some kind of deal on something, or like they give you a Black Friday deal on merch or DVDs.
Yeah.
Usually they do something. So, I mean, if you're looking, bring some money with you, help AIW out. It's their first show in a while. They could show your support.
And I think that does it for that. Any final thoughts or last-minute plugs? Let's start with Payton.
Obviously, because I'm selfish, follow me on Twitter at Payton Vince. And outside of that, check out the website, neosportsinsiders.com. And that Twitter is at neosportsinside. Other than that, I really have nothing else to plug.
Which I haven't yet to mention. We are working on partnering with NEO Sports Insiders. We're not going exclusive. I kind of have a rule. I do not do exclusive, mainly because I help build a Trending Topics network, and I still want a singular feed where people can get the show, but we are working on partnering with them for promotion, and I meant to throw that at the beginning of the show. My apologies, but official announcement, we are partnered with NEO Sports Insiders. Official breaking news. Dustin?
I have been doing very little of anything. You could follow me on Twitter at RevTintin. I will be cluttering up your news feed with retweets of me trying to win Funko Pops. I will live tweet things every once in a while. I will usually say something funny at least once a week, so you can laugh at least once a week.
That's a better average than Payton.
Damn it.
For Christ's sake. I mean, I haven't been doing much. I put all my podcasting stuff that I was trying to do kind of on the back burner. I bought a new house. I got stuff together. I started working 2 jobs. I've been real busy lately. So, I don't know when any of that would ever come back. If I did, I feel like I would just go back to just doing the MMA show strictly. But, beside that, that's all you can do. Find me. I prefer to talk to people in person. So if you see me and you want to say hi, just come up and say, "Hey, I heard you on Wrestling Cheers. You sound cool." And I'll say,
"That Payton guy's an idiot."
I don't think that they need to hear this to know that. But find me, buy me a beer. I always enjoy when people buy me a beer. That's about all I got. Not much else going on in my life.
And of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330. You can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling Cheers. Facebook.com/Wrestling Cheers, Twitter.com/Wrestling Cheers, Instagram.com/Wrestling Cheers. Please rate, review, and subscribe to this wonderful show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. And please check out some of the other shows that we have here on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, European Uppercut, The Tuts Experience, Lou Chat, CFL Easy Picks, What's on Fight, Eurovision Showcase, Legends on Siren Radio, TTN at the Movies, Shut the Fuck Up, and my other show, Hangin' with Heavy, and check out some of our friends that we have, such as Macho Man Radio, Chris Clem's Cavscast, Wingcast, a Wingman podcast, Let the Hate Flow Through You with Jeremy Shear, Pod Van Dam, The Road Home from Wrestling, Weekly Wrestling Podcast, the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. Check out Thrift Store Jobber on Etsy, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, check out our friends at Rebel Life Media. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, and even we know you don't laugh at Payton Vince's jokes. Later.